Hey, what's good? I'm professional shooting coach Colin Castello with Shotmechanics Basketball, and today I'm going to tell you why one-hand form shooting sucks. All right, now one-hand form shooting is one of the classic tried and true drills that pretty much every coach on the planet uses. But about a year and a half ago, I stopped using it completely because I started to find out that it was actually becoming a detriment to a lot of my players' jump shots. So today what I wanted to do is break down why I personally don't use one-hand form shooting anymore and why it can actually hurt your jumper. But before we jump into it, I want to make sure we maximize your jump shot. So all you got to do is click the top link in the description down below and get free instant access to my quick draw shooting workout. This is a workout I put together specifically for you to help increase your in-game shooting speed and in-game shooting consistency, because that's something that most every player needs to work on. All right, so as we jump into it, let's talk about what one-hand form shooting is, right? Now, one-hand form shooting is basically just the idea of shooting form jump shots by having just one hand, right? And I totally understand why a lot of coaches want to work on this, right? It works on your touch, it works on your alignment, it works on your follow through, right? And that can be good. Before you're super angry, I know there's some triggered coaches out there that are heading to the comment section right now are like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, 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 blah. Like, I get it, you're mad, that's fine. But the thing is, there's better ways to work on this that isn't gonna kill the rest of your mechanics. So if you wanna use one-hand form shooting a little bit here and there to work on something specific on a release, all right, more power to you. I don't personally do it, but you can. The thing about one-hand form shooting though is this. Anytime I'm segmenting this one hand, right, we're basically having to set the ball up here while our legs are loaded. So if you're going to do one-hand form shooting, what I would recommend is don't load your legs. Set the ball up here, keep your legs unloaded, and just go off your toes, and that's actually going to maximize your one-hand form shooting if you're gonna use it, right? Because the biggest problem with one-hand form shooting is this, and I see it all the time, is coaches have players loaded up right here, they load their legs because they need to get a little bit of power into their shot, and then they end up shooting just like that. The problem is this point right here, if you've got the ball at your set point, your legs loaded, this is a point that you never are on your jump shot, right? If you look at the best shooters in the world, all of them reach their set point when their body is nice and straight, right about here, right? So if we're working on this timing and we're loading the ball up and our legs down, all of a sudden we're disjointing our shot and it's not gonna be as great. So we're basically working on mechanics that aren't in our actual jump shot, which why would we wanna do that, right? So what I would recommend, if instead of doing one-hand form shooting, just do the same thing, but add two hands to it and just make sure you're loading the ball down, right? I've started doing just two-hand form shooting with all my players. And the whole key that I'm looking for is flow. I'm looking for fluidity in a jump shot, right? No segmentation, no pausing. That's what we're looking for in our form shooting. So with most all my players, I have them start the ball lower down here, kind of by their thigh, and then they're going smooth up through on their finish into their form. Right? That's the motion, that's the repeatability that we're looking for, having that smoothness in a jumper. If I'm having players sit here and do this sort of thing, it's gonna be disjointed and it's not gonna be the same motion that they actually have in a real game. So anytime you can, load the basketball lower, which is pretty impossible to do with one hand, right? That's one of the reasons why I don't use one-hand form shooting anymore. So a drill to substitute for one-hand form shooting that I would recommend for pretty much everybody is what I call slow motion form shooting. So basically it's just a normal form shot where we're getting up here, but we're loading the ball lower, we're getting our hips engaged, and we're just going super slow motion on the shot, working on that timing. So all we're trying to do as players, instead of setting it on a shelf and having our body disjointed from the basketball, we're working on everything being fluid and in one smooth movement. If we can do that and we go smooth up through, it's gonna keep the ball a lot smoother on the release, and that's the kind of muscle memory we wanna start building. And it's great because you can still work on the same touch, the same release, everything that you would normally work on, with your kind of one-hand form shooting. The other alternative is this. You can do the exact same thing, slow motion form shooting, but just pull your guide hand off on the release. So if you really wanna work on a release thing, whether it's your finger release or your wrist snap or whatever, you can still do it, but use two hands. You can just do the normal form and then drop it off right before you snap. That's another great way to kind of integrate both hands instead of the one-hand form shooting. All right, and don't forget, if you want to take your shooting to the next level, all you got to do is click the top link in the description down below. Get free instant access to my quick draw shooting workout that I specifically put together to help you maximize your shooting speed and shooting consistency. So you're not going to want to miss it. And if you're new to Shotmechanics, smash that subscribe button, then head to the comment section down below and let us know what kind of video you want to see next. We're a channel run for the people, by the people, so all you got to do is leave it down below and hopefully we'll be able to get to it. And again, I'm Coach Colin Castello with Shotmechanics Basketball, and until next time, splash on.